Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sweet Reality Kenya TV. Today we present the story of Gilbert Lukalia. Gilbert Lukalia is a renowned thespian, a film actor, director, name them. Hello, Bwana Lukalia. How are you?
Hello, I am glad to be here. Asante. Thank you for that big introduction.
Let us now hear from the horse's own mouth now that the horse is here. Who is Gilbert Lukalia?
I know so much about myself from what people say about me and my works. But let's just say that I have never quite learned to, what's the word, to say much about myself, but I'll attempt it. Gilbert Lukalia is a Kenyan passionate artist. Many people recently know me for film and acting and directing, but my journey actually starts from the theater. It's the theater that really honed my talent and harnessed my passion. I enjoy it tremendously. I don't think I'd rather be anywhere else doing anything else. I've been doing this since 1996, on and off sometimes, because the mind can get a bit overwhelmed, so you decide, oh, let me take a break a bit. And I've toured the world, traveled, to doing this, and that's really why I would encourage anyone who wants to do this to really pursue it, because this has really been a quite an awesome experience. Yeah. But basically, bottom line is, I'm an artist, passionate, probably more passionate than many other people. I can't be the judge of that, but yeah, extremely passionate. Yeah, thank you.
Your passion, Gilbert, is not probable. It is definite. Let's sample this. Art is man's constant effort to create for himself a different order of reality from that which is given to him. You quoted Chinua Achebe. Then, this is what you say. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. It is something you believe in, Gilbert. Tell us more.
Oh wow, Chinua Achebe. May his soul rest in bliss. Really, this is an icon, and I have read most of his works. From the things fall apart, where actually, to me, that was the foundation of my art. Because I read this when I was in school, and the art is just too amazing. Yeah. I consider him my Aristotle, because the second quote is from Aristotle. And yeah, look, I'm passionate. And really, I am passionate because, and I will not lie to you, I wasn't born like that. I did not come into the industry even in the first times of my practice and decided I'm going to be passionate. But it grew over time. And it's really been compounded by my travels. You would live in our own small village. We imagine kings and royalty in our small village until you move to the next village and you realize that there are other kings and queens and royalty. And you sit back and you're like, maybe just something you might not admit publicly, but you might confess. If you're genuine and reasonable enough, you might just confess maybe they are better than you. But you don't stop there. You decide, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better. I want to do much better than that person who I think is better than me. And I think that's my experience. during my travels to Broadway many years back, New York, and I was there for months, courtesy of Sundance Institute. I I saw art on a level that I did not imagine I would. And that changed how I see things, changed how I want to shape things, whether it's a play, whether it's a musical, whether it's a film, a short film, a documentary. It changes things because to me, really, this journey and experiences have made me feel that life is actually corrected by art, that the things we do, in life, it is only art that can correct them. Actually, I usually say life is a mistake that only art can correct. That gives you a feel of the duty that has been bestowed upon you as an artist. It is not a small duty. It is not for any other person. I'm a surgeon with a scalpel, and my scalpel is art. And if I do not give this, I will somehow not alter somebody's life. And I think for me, Chinua Achebe and Aristotle that's and there are many more, but those two guys, man, those are the epitome of good art. They are at the very helm. If you're talking about storytelling, if you want to talk about storytelling, it'd be a bit unfair to history if you didn't mention those two people, even if it's amongst another 100. But yeah, that's really, yeah. So I read a lot because of my passion. I watch a lot of stuff. I hear people. I listen to people because that's what I think good artists do. You pick a few. You pick things as you go on. Look, I'm really going on and on about this, but yeah, I'm only doing that because of how I love it. I can go on forever. So let me stop there.
I really feel you, Gilbert, on Chinua Achebe and Aristotle. What about Frank Capra, whom you quote as saying, film is one of the three universal languages, the other two being mathematics and music?
A strange place to be at. It's new waters. They can sweep you. So you need something to anchor onto. And when I started focusing and putting more energies on film, automatically you want some things to make you believe in whatever you want to do more. And history is one of those things. Any film student will tell you that film history is important. Why is it important? It's because you know the beginning, the source, you know the advancements, you know the hopes and the ambitions of these people. And Frank is one of those guys that I stumbled upon when I was doing my film research and film history particularly. There comes this guy, did amazing stuff. When technology was not as advanced as it is right now. And I think he was born in the 18th century, I think late 1890 something, I forget. But yeah, so I just got very interested, read about his works. If you're lucky, you stumble upon 1, 2, 3 of his works, and you're looking at it and you're like, oh God, if this guy did this in the 40s or in the 50s, when there was no so much blah blah blah, imagine what they would do right now. Yeah. So yeah, I do a lot of that. I don't just want to concentrate on the David Finchers of this world, and Kurosawa is people who you also want to study. If you're really into this, like vizuri sana, like some of us, because I want to know Spielberg, I want to know Tarantino, I want to know Francis Ford Coppola, but they too have fathers. They too have people who were there before them. So why not? Why not know about Frank and Orson Welles? Why not know about movies that were never released because they were struggling to film for years and years? Why not know about the Apocalypse Now? Francis Ford Coppola, that was short, it went, it wasn't released for so long, and then people started calling it, asking Apocalypse when, Apocalypse later, when, film history will enable you meet with such greats, and even theater, because people don't, many people, we do this, but there are people who don't even understand where thespian comes from. And to me, this is not knowledge that you attain so that you brag around with people. It just steadies your resolve. It gives you a foundation. To me, it is the foundation of my art, and I just feel it's important if I know it.
You give me a different feel of the Gilbert I know. Not so different, but I feel you when you talk about Broadway, New York. You've traveled, and I feel I'm traveling with you. Kindly let us travel with you so that we know which places you've traveled to.
Traveling, I've traveled. I have traveled many places. First as for theater, and then eventually for film and film festivals. So let's just say I've traveled Turkey, Switzerland, Helsinki, New York, Italy, South Africa, Egypt. Like passports have been filled up, so like to say that for now, but I would really want to concentrate on my travel in New York for this conversation. For that young girl or boy who's probably listening to this and wants some little inspiration, let me just say this, that you think you know until you meet somebody who knows. You see, so here we are, a team of East Africans, handpicked almost, because we are the best around, so to speak. From, I think it was 3 from Uganda, 2 me from Kenya, plus another 2 dancers, and then there's Rwandese, Tanzanians. So here we are, and we are in this land, and we are given a ticket to a show every day, and when you're not doing a ticket, watching a show during the night, you're probably attending a rehearsal, and you're seeing things, and you're like, oh my God, I want to be there. Because these are people who've really they're on another level, basically. They are on another level. I will not say they are more talented than we are, but I will say they have mechanisms that harness the talent better than we do. So we did workshops, we attended seminars, we attended rehearsals, and I remember some funny story. One day we went and watched, the way you sit in an auditorium, you're watching a play, I think it was a musical then, and then you sing this performance, and you're the 10 or 11 of you from East Africa seated in one row, and at some point of the play you find yourselves looking at each other with mouths wide open, and you're like, oh wait, how good is that? And I remember on that day we were headed back to the hotel, and this lady friend of mine from Dar es Salaam goes like, you guys, I really need to have a meeting with you guys, sit down when we get to the hotel. And she's doing it in that beautiful Swahili of, Tanzanians. And then we were wondering, what was she going to tell us? Does she have any information from our hosts or something? And then we get to the hotel and she sits us down at the lobby and she says, you know what, you guys, I've decided when I go back to Dar es Salaam, I'm going to get some what do they call it? Capital. Yeah, capital. I will open a vegetable shop and quit art because I don't think I can do that. Now, you can imagine what that art that we saw must have, the impact that hits you. Yeah. And luckily, even for her who said that, because we all laughed at it eventually, and she asked, I can't believe what I saw on that stage tonight. And she even was like, were those people or demons? And that summed up my experience. I was so used to doing this here in my own small way, in my own, creative way, and people would applaud me. People would be like, deadly, very good. And then I went and we saw these guys, and it feels like they get possessed, and they are there, and you believe them, and you look at the mastery of the art, whether it's the acting, whether it's the directing, whether it's the setting, everything. You go like, oh God, I want to go there. I want to be there. And there are only two things for me that can happen. You either give up or you decide I'm gonna, accomplish this. And even when it's hard, there's always a satisfaction of something small that has been done where everybody looks at it and says, oh, I could not have thought about it that way. And that's what I'm really doing. So it's really, we can talk about my travels and my experiences because I will only pick things that really were beneficial to my journey. Yeah, and there's a lot. From meeting directors, from out there who look at you and you're a first-time person in a film festival and they look at you and they're doing stuff, you're like, oh, and they wonder if you went to school, yeah. So really, it's a long travel. That is, look, I think my first travel outside this country for art was 1999. So and probably until maybe 2016, 17, at least every year I was out somewhere, experiencing something. So we might need an entire session for my travels alone. But yeah, Broadway was the ultimate. Broadway was the ultimate. And I think I can confidently say that if it wasn't for this COVID and the lockdown and everything, we would have brought Broadway very close to Kenya. We're planning a collaborative musical soon, but that has stalled a bit because of the pandemic. Oh God, that's a lot of talk. Please cut some things out. I just want to. I just want to inspire where possible. So if you feel that it's a lot, please.
Gilbert, I called you so that we could talk a lot. Now, the first time I got into contact with you was when we were acting in Nairobi Law. Then I was a doctor, Dr. Mkoa, if you could remember, and you were a lawyer. I thought that was the greatest you had done before this story now. Kindly tell us your theater journey. Where did you start up to the time you are now traveling to Broadway and all those other places?
Every other artist who has done theater in this country, well, not all of them, but most of them, will tell you that many people start with school set books, and that's really where I started. At KIMC, Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, Started there, did a play. There was a resident, sort of like, let me call it a resident company that was, being hosted there called New Star. I started there. I did a few plays here and there. Did not go very well in terms of consistency and profitability. And then, I moved on to seek other ventures. I went to the National Theatre. I auditioned there. I wasn't picked mostly for the first play, usually. Yeah, but I remember, I think it was the government inspector. Yeah, it was the government inspector. And I remember, just auditioning, and I left. And I wasn't picked. We had this routine where we would go to the National Theatre to check the notice board and see what's up, what's coming up, and if it suits you, if it doesn't. Yeah, so I wasn't picked. I stayed on, trying to, taking a few walks there, going, checking something, no, yeah, audition, try it, fail, go on. Then one day I receive a phone call and I'm told one of the lead characters in the government inspector has dropped off, and the director recommends that I can easily fit them. And I took that as my grand opportunity. I decided from the moment I hung up that call, I decided I'm going to do this role like nothing else. So much that everybody who watches me will be like, oh, where did you come from? Who are you? Yeah, and this was the Kitambo, there were no mobile phones. So these phone calls were usually made from, well, luckily my father had a house line, those landlines, and that is how it happened. Yeah, otherwise, like every other artist, not okay. Let me not say like every other artist, because I know there are people who are very complacent, and they get into comfort zones and they get comfortable and life stops, sort of. No, I did not like that experience. So I don't like being on a plateau. I'm either going up or rapidly descending. I think to me I live for that adrenaline. I live for that, new experiences and daring. I'm a very daring person. Even when if you watch my directing, if maybe ask any actor who has worked with me, or a crew member who has acted, they will tell you this guy is very daring. Sometimes I do things and even people I'm working with open their mouths and I go, wait, are we sure we want to do that? And eventually it comes out and people go like, okay, yeah, only he can do that. Anyway, besides, back to theatre. So I decided I'm not going to get comfortable here. I decided to do a few public plays here. I auditioned. I got lucky. Sometimes I'm not. But I remember at some point, and I think this is 1999, 98, 99. I remember being like one of the most sought after theatre actors, and it would really get into my head, because now you're doing like 4 plays. You're rehearsing this one maybe in the morning, then you're rehearsing this at 2, and then you're rehearsing this other one at about 4, and then you have a play that is running from 6, and then you're like, oh my god, it's too much. Yeah, well, I look back at those days and I say, maybe that's the one thing that maybe I would not do again, because again, Waswahili wanasema mshika mawili moja mponyoka. So there's definitely something, however good you are, there's something that we will not give the best, because the focus is a bit, on and off here and there. But yeah, I did plays, public plays, and I went to Phoenix, and that's a very vital part of my journey, Phoenix, and especially the old man, our father, we call him, James Falkland, may God rest his soul. He changed me as well, and then I think that was because James was really the first person who felt I can direct theatre. and gave me an opportunity. And not just an opportunity to like, here, direct, no. He trained me. He took me to rehearsals where I was not working. He just called me and told me, hey, are you available to go for these rehearsals and watch how we direct, how we know? And he took me through 8 weeks of class. It was an experience. And then after that, opportunities start coming your way. I did a monologue. I went to Tanzania. No, actually I did a monologue, and then a friend of mine from Tanzania watched, and they believed that I can really help Tanzania grow artistically. And then I went there, worked briefly, came back, and then proposals were brought about, guys who should represent Kenya in New York, and there I was on the list. I will not say I was very surprised, because of the work that I had put in for years and years. And then there I am very I want to call it a blessing and also maybe a small weakness at the same time, because after my visit to Broadway, I was very cautious in anything I touch, because my expectations were very high. Yeah, so caution sometimes can make you not do things, but yet it also makes you do things very well. Yeah, so it might not be so surprising that I do not have that my theatrical experience before Sundance, New York, is very. It's more. I did more theater before than I have done after. Yeah, because really even after, I decided I'm going to concentrate on directing and visual development of the concept, and producing. And you see, directing comes with a few other needs for partnership. As a director, you must have a producer, and sometimes you sit down with a producer, you tell them your vision, and they go like, we'll contact you, and then you wait and wait, because basically they just felt that you are not dreaming on their same level. Maybe you are too dreaming. Then it's grand. But I've not given up hope. I'm not saying I will wait forever. No, because I've done things. I produced a show in 2015. I produced a big show, and I think it was I wasn't the director, I was just producing. I wanted to dare myself, jump in and see if I can pull the resources together, I can put the team together and share